Yeah, thanks for joining us for this talk today. We're going to be talking about frontiers of content management and really go through how you can future-proof your marketing strategies using tools and insights from Acquia. Already covered the introduction, so let's move on to some of the topics that we're going to cover today. So we're going to talk about cutting-edge tools to streamline and enhance your marketing processes. We're going to go through some of the opportunities and challenges of adopting new innovations, particularly around AI. I mean, we talked about it in the previous session. Certainly a core topic of conversation across various MarTech organizations, and really actionable tips for integrating various MarTech solutions into your workflows.
Great. Did we mention we'll be talking about AI? Certainly. All right. Well, we're fresh off Acquia Engage Boston just 2 weeks ago, and so that was our big annual conference in North America for our customers and partners. So we've got a lot of the new insights and tools and information to bring to you here at this event. Again, thank you for joining us. For those unfamiliar with Acquia, Acquia provides the universal platform for the world's greatest digital experiences. And we stand for creating an open, safe, accessible, and a richer web for all. Of course, Acquia, co-founded by Dries Buytaert, the founder and creator of Drupal. And the Acquia Open DXP, the digital experience platform, consists of several integrated technologies today for content management and hosting with Drupal, distributed marketing, automation and campaign management, customer data management, and digital asset management. Of course, that's where I come from, along with new tools for content accessibility, optimization, and personalization, as we just recently announced our intent to acquire Macedo, which is an accessibility platform. Now, we all understand how influential content is to the entire customer and digital experience. It helps us find, use, or choose and use those products and services that we buy and use. And rich content like photos and videos and animations and brochures and so much more are really no exception to thinking about a holistic content strategy. And a content strategy demands speed and relevance across multiple channels. And being a multi-channel marketer or digital experience provider is no easy job today. And so as you think about all of the content available, this channel needs these assets and these formats, and new channels need another format and resolution. It's a lot to manage. And content is changing all of the time, and all of the different places where content is used is also changing. So it can be hard to keep up. Now, teams across organizations, perhaps your teams and your organizations, also work in silos, which makes it increasingly more difficult. So in part one, we want to start by talking about some of the tools and technologies that can really streamline and enhance your go-to-market processes built around Drupal. And so the three primary tools in focus here include talking about digital asset management, or DAM for short, personalization engines, and Drupal. And these are universal technologies that any organization, no matter what industry, no matter what size, can use to build a more efficient marketing and digital experience practice for all audiences. And we'll start by talking about DAM. And so think of DAM as your single source of truth for all content used across all channels. And the core functions of DAM allow you to control, find, publish, reuse, and track content assets across channels. This includes controlling who has access to what, when, and how assets can be used, and then the ability to search and find assets, leveraging the power of metadata and categories and collections for curated sets of assets, which supports the ability to cope. And that's create once, manage once, and publish everywhere. To reuse assets, repurpose assets across different channels and mediums for different audiences, and then to track and analyze content use across channels with one view of that asset's performance. And these are the DAM basics as we talk about DAM. And when paired with Drupal, DAM gives you even more superpowers to consider. And that superpower is to scale content lifecycle management and orchestration with an accessible interface to increase content findability and reuse across teams, tools, and channels. notifications, which keep people in the know throughout content lifecycle changes. Anytime new content becomes available for use, or anytime content is set to expire or be retired. And then configurable portals to get people exactly what they need, either internally or through external partners, for any purpose to have access to content. Now, that's quite powerful when you consider the massive scale and amount of content in use and demand today. And then you can integrate DAM across your content workflows, connecting digital assets anywhere they need to be used, leveraging the API, which unlocks a world of possibilities, or dozens of native integrations to connect assets upstream in the creative cycle or downstream to the point of your digital experience. And you can see where assets are being used in your Drupal CMS and across your pages and other tools. And then finally, you can use DAM to analyze content use with content analytics to see asset activity and engagement to help inform new and future content investments, and track your analytics to see where your content goes for all the teams and people that need access to your content. Now, integrating DAM and Drupal really makes for a powerful combo. And as consumers demand a richer, more relevant, more personalized digital experience, that's where we need to think about how to leverage personalization engines to drive more relevant, richer digital experiences.
Thanks, Jake. One of the things that's really compelling about personalization is really the degree to which modern consumers actually want and expect personalization. So as you can see in the numbers on the screen here, not only do customers look for personalized experiences, want to be served information that's really more relevant to their own sort of buying journey, but they're actually even willing to sort of share their own personal information in order to get those personalized experiences. So it's really more and more becoming something that they expect as part of that engagement with your sort of brand online. Now, not only that, but if we look at the outcomes for the organizations that implement personalization, we can see that there's definitely positive business outcomes, double-digit growth here in terms of things like business results, lower cost of acquisition for those new consumers, and so really a strong positive uplift, in this case validated by Forbes. So for anyone not familiar with Acquia personalization, it really is a personalization tool built and developed specifically for Drupal websites. Can be used sort of omni-channel across different platforms as well, but really allows your marketing team to self-service by creating personalization campaigns in 3 simple steps. So basically determining what's the content that you want to deliver, who you want to deliver it to, and where on your digital properties do you want that delivered. They can do all of that using no code whatsoever in the setup, and can set up a variety of campaigns, including things like A/B testing. Because it's built around Drupal, it works across all of the different languages that Drupal supports, and allows your team to also collaborate using sort of schedule-based personalization. So saying when campaigns should start and stop, and those kinds of things as well. So in terms of how organizations can start to adopt personalization, typically where we see organizations able to sort of make immediate gains is by targeting delivery based on sort of explicit characteristics of an individual visit. So where is the visitor located when they visit the website? Did they click through from, let's say, an AdWords campaign, or maybe some kind of a targeted email? Is it maybe their first time on the website, or maybe their 5th time? Maybe we want to change the messaging based on some of those different factors. But as they start to get more sophisticated, they're starting to deliver content really based more around the user's activity on the website. So do they show an affinity for a certain section of the website, or maybe content aligned to different personas? Maybe you have certain high intent pages on your website, and based on the fact that a user has visited one of those, you want to now serve them more targeted messaging that aligns with some of the intent that expressed. Maybe they've shared some information with you via a web form, or different kinds of forms on your website. Now you want to use that to also create a more enriched experience for them. And finally, they may have completed events. So maybe it's making a purchase, signing up for a webinar, and so on. So all of those factors that you can use to sort of create targeted delivery of content for them. And then where customers start to see sort of the most sophistication is starting to integrate personalization with some of the other tools in their MarTech stack. So integrating it with your CRM or your CDP, starting to deliver those personalized experiences across different channels and not just on a website, and also starting to combine a variety of these different strategies. We also see personalization as really part of that larger DXP strategy. So certainly within the Acquia ecosystem, we see integrating personalization with other tools, like marketing automation tools and a customer data platform as really the way that your organization can get that sort of single centralized understanding of your customer across all of those different touch points. So consolidating all of the different data that's too often is siloed amongst those different touch points, getting that 360-degree view of the customer and how they sort of add value and engage with your organization across all of those different channels, and then being able to layer on sort of AI and machine learning based algorithms to do things like predictive analytics to sort of determine what are the things that they're most likely to do next, and again try and engage them with content and offers that align with where we know that they're going based on those analytics. So speaking of analytics, oftentimes in the open source space, we'll hear comparisons about how free tools like Google Analytics may stack up against proprietary tools from some of the large vendors in sort of the MarTech space. But by sort of layering on some of those free analytics tools with reporting, journey mapping, some of the predictive analytics and more sophisticated segmentation, using some of these other open DXP tools, you can really actually stack the deck in your organization's favor. And really that becomes the basis of how the Acquia Open DXP can allow your organization to sort of leverage all of these various tools that we know are really growing in number and complexity in terms of how MarTech teams are sort of engaging with their stakeholders across those different channels. Use that to drive that, again, 360-degree view of your customers, layer on those predictive analytics, and then activate those insights across a variety of different channels, not just web, but email, SMS, a variety of different touch points and channels.
All right, thanks, Martin. So these are really exciting capabilities that marketers and digital experience creators now have at our fingertips to deliver richer, more unified and personalized digital experiences. And so in part two, we want to talk more about some of the opportunities and some of the challenges and some tips for adopting new innovations. And of course, in 2023 here, AI is at the center of attention when it comes to content creation and management and just about anything in the digital world. And so while it's great that we aspire to deliver rich, unified experiences, we know that content is still at the center of all of this. And a staggering 78% of marketers and digital experience creators admit that they struggle with the pace of content creation as the demand for fresh, relevant, and timely content is relentless, and our capacity to meet that is really not always up to speed. So marketers are reusing and repurposing content more and more to help keep pace with this demand. And a whopping 98% of marketers are now integrating AI in some way into their content strategies. Now, AI isn't just a trend. It's really here to stay as it's become an essential team member in our marketing departments here today.
And so the good news, as folks here can attest, being part of the Drupal community means that we get to adopt some of these new innovations at the pace of open source, which oftentimes is significantly faster than what we would see with proprietary tools. So when ChatGPT became publicly available last year, within weeks we had a working integration with Drupal, and so content teams could start to embrace some of these tools right away and get rolling. But what we've already talked about a little bit is how within these different stages and different capacities in which we need to engage our customers and stakeholders, there are a variety of ways we can use AI to sort of help us augment the ways that our team goes about the daily work that they do. So the video that you would see here is really about just using generative AI in Drupal, essentially using using the ChatGPT integration that again is provided by the community. I think one of the challenges of using ChatGPT as sort of the pure content generation interface is that we've probably all experienced, what's often called hallucinations. So the fact of the matter is that tools like ChatGPT are really optimized to provide a response that sounds good, but we've all seen examples of where there's like factually completely off base. And so to use ChatGPT for sort of pure content generation sometimes can lead us down a path where we risk putting information out there that's demonstrably wrong. But I think the real promise, at least today, in using generative AI is really to augment content that's actually written by people. So get your subject matter experts to create the content, but now you can use AI tools like we would be seeing here to do things like, create a summary. Those are the kinds of things that AI is actually very reliable at doing. It can do things like suggest different titles, suggest tags. And so it makes your content creators better able to focus their time and energy on the things that only they can do and allow AI to sort of simplify and streamline the processes for things that are probably more mundane and AI is actually a really good fit for.
Yeah. And the video that would be here is also linked from Acquia.com/AI where you can access it. We'll be sure to include that in any follow-up communications. Now, working with digital assets, AI and computer vision have been and are used to auto-generate metadata tags and descriptions to really support findability to increase content reuse and to generate alt text based on those AI-generated tags for both SEO and web accessibility purposes. AI is also used in creative workflows to streamline the asset creation, to find similar images, search related assets, buy, look, suggest any copy edits, new designs, or to create new iterations of content assets. And the asset metadata can be used to drive richer, more relevant experiences with ML to use the best available images, matching customer preferences to support a more personalized experience.
So anyone using Acquia tools like our customer data platform or CDP also can leverage a variety of machine learning powered algorithms out of the box. So from day one, as soon as your data is in the platform, you can start to use those sort of pre-trained algorithms. That in turn can allow you to leverage sort of predictive analytics. So to be able to potentially target campaigns based on things like who's maybe most likely to pay full price. And you could do things like exclude them from discounting campaigns. So there's a variety of ways where some of these tools can really provide tremendous value, again, really from day one.
Now, AI is really becoming the fuel to power an entire content lifecycle from ideation and planning to the creation and management of content through finding and repurposing content to downstream channels and analyze it to optimize your campaigns and events, any launches and so forth. And a few tips that we have as we talk about AI with customers is really to define your use cases. There are many different use cases today, but it's important to find the practical application that makes sense for your organization so that you can use AI with purpose. And also to maintain that human touch to ensure that AI-powered content fuels and fulfills the needs of your customers and your audiences. Also document your processes. You need good governance, as we heard just before, in your content workflows to really maximize the benefit with AI. Have guidance and oversight in your process for how you use AI with whatever it produces, and also get comfortable being uncomfortable. The world of AI is rapidly evolving, and we encourage you to embrace a try-it mentality, but also don't lose sight of the human touch. Now, next, we have some tips for integrating some of this MarTech into your content workflows. And we, as a MarTech provider, every year look at the growing MarTech landscape, as you see here. Chief MarTech reports over 15,000 MarTech tools in place in 2023. Acquia has been part of this for over the last 10 years, since there was just, say, 600 MarTech tools in 2013. And so for the last decade, companies have been adding new tools. And in 2023, more and more companies have been rationalizing and looking to optimize the investments that they have, while also looking at what they need to fill their gaps and adding new. Now, the top technology categories alongside Acquia and some of the legacy widened DAM solutions deployed include solutions for productivity and workflow, marketing automation, web development and design, search engine marketing and search engine optimization, social media networks, web and app optimization analytics, video players and distribution, other CMSs, and web analytics. Now, some of the tips that we have for when you seek to integrate more of this MarTech across your workflows to really construct your optimal MarTech stack is shown here. This is the approach that we recommend to customers. And the first step is really to understand and to map your existing MarTech stack. And this includes looking at the usage and the use cases to what you have in place today, to then look for your potential capability overlaps and gaps across your different technologies, and then consider any current integrations and integration gaps. And of course, looking at contract dates and costs as ways to assess funding for future investments. And then recommend opportunities for improvement, cost savings, more new use cases to advance the utilization, as we find that across most of the MarTech landscape, organizations are using only about a third of what they have available to them. And then identifying gaps in your technology stack and recommending possible solutions through tighter integration, greater utilization, etc. And building your business and technical capability map. They go hand in hand to really help optimize your cost and total cost of ownership and maximize ROI. And then analyzing the business impact of these systems can really help you identify any savings and synergies to assess your funds for future investments.
Of course, Drupal being the focus of conversation today, leveraging a popular open source platform like Drupal gives you a tremendous advantage when it comes to trying to integrate some of these different technologies. Because earlier this year, Drupal passed 50,000 concurrent projects on Drupal.org. So what that means is that as you try and integrate some of these different solutions, oftentimes you're going to have sort of drop-in integrations readily available for a number of the most popular tools. So across some of the different categories that Jay just talked about. So whether you're talking about marketing automation or CRM, analytics, commerce, and so on, a variety of the most popular tools are going to have existing integrations already available. So when you look at these logos, probably the thing that should stand out is all of these have, robust integrations, again, readily available as projects. You can just install into your Drupal project and figure to start all of those MarTech technologies working together. So we like to say that Drupal integrates with everything. You'll notice there's a little asterisk there because sometimes it does require a little work, but to help you understand, where the opportunities are in terms of integrating with those and where a little more work might need to be invested, we have a spot on Acquia.com called Acquia Exchange, which is really a library of integrations. So you can look at different products, including Drupal. You can look at different categories, including AI and personalization, and really be able to get a sense of, where are those existing integrations and maybe where is it going to require a little extra work to sort of integrate those into the MarTech stack. So if maybe you're looking to replace a tool that you're using today or adopt a new tool, using something like this to understand maybe among the choices of things that you're looking at, maybe some of those things will fit into your existing stack a little better than others and be a useful resource that way. So also wanted to talk, since we've been mentioning personalization, certainly it's definitely built for integration. So out of the box, it has native connectors for a variety of common MarTech solutions like EvolveDrupal, MarTech, Demandbase, and our CP. It also has very robust APIs. So if you want to use it in sort of that, multi-channel capacity, very easy to integrate with things like native apps. And then people using personalization preview can also use Snowflake as kind of a data warehouse to get in there and actually interact with the data natively as well. Now, we actually use our personalization directly with 6sense for account-based marketing or ADM. And so if you go to dev.acquia.com, There's actually a whole tutorial you can go in there on how to set that up. If you're interested in sort of account-based marketing for your own organization or just understanding potentially how to use personalization, again, integrated with some of the other tools.
And the DAM is also highly integrated. DAM tools are integrated with tools to streamline and automate your content workflows to improve operational efficiency, again, with AI-powered auto tagging to make files instantly searchable, rule-based notifications to alert users of new assets or changes to existing assets, anything expiring, workflows to manage review and approval processes, and on-the-fly file conversions, which is one of the core aspects of DAM, to convert images and videos and audio files to different formats and sizes and resolutions, etc., for different channels. And to make DAM part of your creative workflow, these are the 4 categories of integrations that every organization has some access to, including stock photo sites, Shutterstock, Getty Images, Adobe Stock, creative tools, Adobe Creative Cloud, Microsoft Office, Canva, etc., work management and project management tools, and file sharing tools as ways to maximize the investments in existing assets that you can manage those with a central source of truth to be reused accordingly. And when it comes to digital experience integrations, you may seek to make assets available or seamlessly extend assets from the DAM to the point of your digital experience. When you integrate DAM with your CMS or DXP, whether it be Drupal or others, marketing tools for marketing automation, social media, and more, sales tools for CRM, sales enablement, and e-commerce, anything to deal with bringing new products to market. So we want to wrap up with a case story that puts some of these technologies and principles into practice. And as customer zero, it's Acquia's own MarTech story, as we aspire to be at the forefront of putting some of these tools and thinking into practice. Now, this is the MarTech we use. This is an export from Cabinet M's database. It's a Cabinet M is a MarTech database, and this is a very unstructured look at our MarTech stack. Now, here's a better representation of the Acquia MarTech stack, as content teams across Acquia can use the no-code tooling to easily create and manage website content and use the DAM to manage assets across tools and channels and teams. And there's an intuitive page builder that can help place assets and individual elements, pre-built sections or components. Technical teams easily manage the underlying platform or integrate JavaScript components to help drive more compelling digital experiences. And then our digital teams use a set of integrated tools to stitch together customer journeys, such as with 6 Sense, to drive engagement at every touch point. Now, the beauty of an open TXP is that one could use Acquia tools for almost every part of the stack, or use whatever other elements or third-party technologies that you have and find most valuable.
So as Jake mentioned earlier, Acquia was really founded with the express interest of providing sort of enterprise support for Drupal. And so Drupal continues to be at the core of everything we do, not only as an engineering organization, but also as a marketing organization. So all of the different categories of sort of MarTech technologies, we use Drupal really as the glue that helps us take all of those together to give our marketing teams the intelligence that they need to make effective decisions. So that would be interesting to share a little bit about how we collect data, essentially pulling in user data from a variety of different mediums. So whether it's collecting user data as part of things like webinar registrations, maybe responses to different kinds of email campaigns. Eventually using those through a variety of lead scoring and marketing automation techniques to qualify those, marketing qualified leads, starting to give them access to more interactive tools so that they can kind of do their own research, using things like clickable demos, so that eventually we ensure them to the point where they're ready to have sort of more of that direct conversation with a sales representative, or all the while through enriching that data using again, touch points from a variety of different platforms, and using our CDP as a place to sort of layer all of that data together, create that unified view of our customers, and enrich it with sort of the predictive analytics we talked about earlier. So the different kinds of data that we use as part of our marketing team really fit in these 4 different categories. So really tracking a variety of different activity across different touch points, the user data that we sort of distill that down into, and then using sort of performance and SEO data to sort of understand the effectiveness of some of the things we're doing, and also maybe where there are opportunities to sort of optimize what we're doing as an organization. So again, across those different areas of data that we're collecting, we're again using different tools. Currently, we're using OneTrust, sort of that privacy compliance layer. But as we mentioned earlier, we recently announced an acquisition of Anderson-Clutz, and so again, like many of the customers, probably the people in this room, but for agencies, the customers that you deal with on a daily basis, this mix of technology is always going to be changing. And so again, having a flexible platform that allows you to easily swap different technologies in and out, and it's going to have those existing integrations is part of what makes Drupal so powerful as a platform. So thinking about activity data, you can see obviously Google Analytics is going to be core in terms of understanding the different kinds of things that people are doing, particularly on web platforms. Sixth Sense is where we start to layer in some understanding of what company is a particular associated with, and maybe even some of the stages in their sort of customer journey. Layering into that some insights based on the content that they're consuming within CMS. So is it content around sort of products? Maybe it's aligned with different personas, and again, you can use that to fuel things like personalization. All of that data eventually flowing down into sort of our Google Analytics and Tag Manager data layer, and then using that to pull it into things like our customer data platform, our Salesforce CRM, and Campaign Studio for marketing automation. In terms of user data, again, obviously capturing some of this data directly within our Drupal websites, but also using things like a Drupal chatbot, user forms, using a form stack, and again, marketing automation, again, flowing into those same sort of activation channels as well. In terms of performance and SEO, now starting to use different tools to understand, how are we doing around things like accessibility? Are there issues around sort of broken links or schema.org markup, ways that we can sort of be better optimized for not only SEO, but social sharing and so on. Oftentimes these will flow into something like Asana if there's sort of actionable steps that we need to take to mitigate some of these, or if it's something that requires immediate attention, pushing it via webhooks into something like Slack for the team to jump on right away.
And within the digital marketing process, we have two primary spots where data influences our decisions. There's the research and analytics up front, and we always start with research and review our metrics, our heat maps, our user testing data. This helps determine what direction we should be heading. And then the review and testing phases. We perform user testing and review existing metrics before finalizing anything that we pass to development, so we know that we're putting forward a worthwhile experience. Now, sometimes we might be doing this work directly in production using personalization or A/B testing to see what works and what doesn't before starting this entire process for our digital marketing. Now, to sum it up, Acquia unifies customer data from all sources into a single customer view that can power any activation channel. We have machine learning models for predictive analytics that help inform what is the next best action for any user. And this really helps us deliver a richer experience that offers personalized engagement at every touch point. So with that, we hope that we've left you with some ideas on how to leverage these innovations so that you too can move on the frontiers of content management across your digital experience. And we thank you for your attention and interest. We welcome any questions that you have and invite you to connect with us throughout the day. All right, thank you. We have some time for questions. Are there any questions here? Yes.
Manage this. They didn't have a point person. The job it was to manage the fact that different pages would have like 100 possible ways of being used. And over time, this I found became overwhelming to them. They weren't quite sure who was responsible, and they decided to drop the idea. So I think if any of you are considering implementing any of these technologies, they're great. But I think we should think first about, does our team have the bandwidth to actually assign one person to be responsible?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so thanks for that. And I absolutely agree. I think for teams looking to go down that path of personalization, having sort of that resource, that person, as you say, that's accountable and has the capacity to sort of oversee not only the creation of the campaigns, but also to really think through the content and how that should be created is really going to be critical to the success of taking on personalization. So definitely thinking about, who within your team is going to have that capacity and making sure that they are given sort of, the bandwidth that's going to be required to sort of shepherd that into, a successful set of campaigns is definitely going to be crucial. Hopefully we're maybe moving towards a future where AI can help with some of, the content generation side of things, maybe even start to do things like, suggest different ways variants might be used to test different things as well in terms of doing the optimization. So it's definitely, I think, an exciting time, but I absolutely agree that making sure that there's, the team's capacity to sort of, ensure the success with personalization is absolutely a critical factor.
So as every company that uses that tool would be unique, I guess there might be a significant hardware phase. So what's the typical time it takes to actually set everything up so everyone can use that platform?
So when you say the platform, you're referring to personalization? Yeah. Okay. So I would say it probably varies based on the type of campaign you're looking to do. Certainly, if you can get started using simpler criteria, so again, geography based or based on type of event aligned with UTM codes, those are the kinds of campaigns you can start to sort of create and drive results really from day one. So there's really no need. What I would say is when you start to think about more the behavioral targeting, there's probably actually some work you want to do in your content architecture, right? So make sure that you've got, so typically what we say is customers are going to get the most value if they have their content tagged with vocabularies that can be aligned with different personas, different sections of the website, and then also with keywords. And then what that allows the personalization tool to do is as a visitor goes through the website to sort of automatically determine, is there a particular persona this visitor is aligned with? Is there a particular section of the website that they have an affinity for? And are there certain keywords that are aligned with their interests? And so now you can start to use those to be more sophisticated in terms of the content experiences that you serve to them and making some of those content architecture changes, but also making sure that the content is properly tagged with those. For some customers, depending on how much content they have and where they are in the process, can require some work. Any other questions?
I understand you come from that acquisition. Could you speak to when do you feel that people coming up maybe at the manager of a couple of workloads that a DAM makes sense as opposed to just using Google Drive, Dropbox, or the Google Media?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of compelling reasons to consider DAM wherever you're at in your digital maturity or journey. If you're a developer or a designer and you've heard one too many times, can you send me that file, or do you recall where that particular file is from that campaign or that event last year? We hear that from customers, dozens to hundreds of times a month, and it starts to add up. So those are some of the compelling reasons. Now, across our customer base, we have customers that will have 5,000 files, which is not uncommon to have 5,000 files managed in a Google Drive or a share point, and that's no efficient way, or even your Drupal media library, no efficient way to provide access to repurpose those assets across teams and channels. Then we've got customers with 5 million assets. So there's really no number. It's when you reach the tipping point with more people that need access to be able to reuse and make the most of the investments that you're making in content, which for any sophisticated organization over the last 10 years, we've been amassing hundreds and thousands of digital media files to support our customer experience. So we work in all industries for all size organizations that seek to solve content chaos.
I think the only thing I might add there is Jake touched on content analytics earlier, and I think that part of the power of content analytics is really being able to understand what content is driving engagement and then focus your investments on content creation to align with the kinds of things that are actually driving engagement.
Yeah, absolutely. And with generative AI, we've only reached the tipping point of the plethora of new content and iterations of it that will be among us over the years to come. All right. Thank you for your time here today. Once again, thanks for being here.